I can't believe he's gone." Monica smiled warmly, the edges of her lips slightly wilting with the effort. "He's not truly gone. You know that." A deluge of questions hung on the tip of my tongue, but I bit them back, nodding instead. Even still, it must be difficult. "Yes, it is, but I'm thankful for the time we shared, and one day we'll meet again." She assumes he got into heaven, and that she will too. How nice it must be so certain about such things. Shoving the bitter edge to my thoughts aside, I gave her a wan smile which was the best I could muster. "I guess I'm not as good with this kind of stuff as you are." She took my hand in hers and squeezed. "No one is good with death. Not really. But I have faith, and that faith will get me through." I liked Monica, considered her a friend, but sometimes I wanted to sprint in the opposite direction when she started spouting such platitudes as if she was creating some kind of cognitive dissonance within me. She was even more of an optimist than Lily and my mom combined, which was a lot to handle for a pessimist like myself. "Right. Faith." Just as she went to turn away, I pulled on her arm and she raised her eyebrows in question. "Do you feel God?" I often wondered if the heaven-marked hunters had some kind of intrinsic sense of a higher power I didn't, since I was also marked by hell. It would definitely make the faith thing a whole lot easier if that was the case. Monica regarded me with sympathy and an edge of annoyance. "How many times are you going to ask me that?" It was true. It wasn't the first time I broached the subject with her, my curiosity insuppressible, but she never gave me anything concrete. I figured if she was ever going to give me a straight answer, it would be now. I smiled ruefully. "At least once more." "Come on. The service is about to start." She tugged me up the stairs and into the ornate cathedral, the finer details of my surroundings instantly blurring into the background. I couldn't help but finger the mask I had stuffed in my pocket, the urge to put it on as a shield both physically and emotionally difficult to resist. Somehow I managed. Spotting the back of Lily's blonde head in the first pew on the right, I groaned. She had to sit in the front, didn't she? But then again, it wasn't like Thomas had packed the place, so hiding in the back wasn't a legitimate option. A wave of sadness crashed over me as my gaze fell on the closed coffin sitting up on the dais. Inside the polished mahogany box was all that was left of my friend, an empty shell. He died, but did he ever truly get to live life for himself? Sure, he had Monica and a handful of friends, but how would his life have been different if he'd had an actual choice? Monica dropped my hand, continuing on to meet with the priest who hovered just beyond the coffin, the two of them beginning a hushed conversation. Sliding into the pew next to Lily, I pretended not to notice Jensen on the other side of her. Instead, I turned my attention to the picture of Thomas sitting front and center on a small table adorned with flowers. He seemed happy in it, the grin on his face crinkling the corners of his green eyes. His long, dark hair was windswept, a few strands stuck within the stubble on his chiseled jaw, the faintest tan lines from sunglasses visible. The background was out of focus, but the colors hinted at an outdoor scene, which fit with the rest. Wringing my hands in my lap, I kept staring at the image of the dead hunter. Thomas, my friend, my gaze tracing every inch of his face over and over. Was he finally at peace? Or was he beginning a new battle, another he would eventually lose? This is a joke, all of it. Thomas was the best of the twice marked, and what did it get him? His life cut short because that's what happens to all of us, isn't it? I didn't know of any old, twice-marked hunters because they didn't exist. We all died young, and horribly. I was witnessing my future, and it could come at any moment.